Hey, so today, December 31st, 2020, good time to reflect on the year and to think about the year ahead. I know for a lot of us, obviously 2020 has been a really challenging year. A lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of loss. And I'm not going to pretend that's not true. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and just say, hey, let's look for what was good in the year. And at the same time, it's not a bad question. And maybe not like what was good or what we appreciate, but what can we learn? What were the themes of 2020? So I never trust myself when I want to just come up with a theme. It seems like I'll have some sort of an agenda that I'll want to impose on you. So what I decided to do was to do a kind of a musical tarot. And I chose the first card, but the other two were chosen at random. And so when I think about music and tonight, New Year's Eve, the first thing I think about is Auld Lang Syne. All right, so I'll give you a little bit of it. Interesting first couple of lines. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Now that's already a double entendre, as if one of the ways you can say it is, what if old acquaintance is forgot and never brought to mind? What then? But the other one is, should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should we forget about our past interactions, our past relationships? 2020 asks us that question, doesn't it? The world that we knew seems to be gone. Should we just forget about it? What can we look back on from 2020? Should we just say 2020 like into the trash, into the dustpan, and be done with it, and now 2021? And I'm seeing a lot of posts on social media, like people just can't wait for 2021, like it's going to be a totally new, different thing. Like all of a sudden, magically, we're turning a page and can't wait to be done with 2020. But should 2020 be forgot and never brought to mind? So the Scottish holiday for this day, the 31st of December, it's Hogmanay. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's how it's spelled. And one of the traditions is everyone in a circle holding hands when you start singing the song. Except you don't hold hands like this. You cross your hands like this. So your hands are over your heart and you're holding hands with the people on either side of you. And as you sing, you walk into the circle. So the circle gets tighter and tighter, more and more connected. And then when you finished the first half of the verse, you turn around. Of course, you have to turn around by still holding hands. And now you're facing outward, holding hands like this as you walk facing the new year, facing the future, but you haven't let go. So there are lessons from 2020 that we need to hold on to, that should not be forgot and should be brought to mind. So for these next lessons, I turned to a random playlist generator and I got a couple of songs. And one of them is by Lauv, Lauv. It's called I Like Me Better. And in post, I'll throw in a couple of lines. I think I get 8 seconds of before I have to pay royalties. So I'll just play the lines. I'll just stand here now and imagine that they're playing, because they will be. So the line, the first line is, I like me better when I'm with you. That's kind of the essence of human interaction, of relationship, isn't it? Like, why do we like other people? We like other people because we like ourselves in their presence. And this has been a year where we've been deprived of presence. We've been gifted with Zoom, gifted with Skype, with FaceTime, gifted with chat and Signal and WhatsApp and Snapchat and TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and yet we're deprived of presence, of the physical beating heart, the flesh, the warmth, the energy of many of the people in our lives. They're friends of mine, very dear friends I haven't seen literally all year, literally all of 2020, have not been in their presence. And so that line really hit me, like, I like myself better when I'm with you. So the question is, who am I when I'm not with you? Who am I when I am on my own, in my own space? And how do I learn to like that person? How do I learn to be the person that I am with you by myself, or with my family, with the people that I'm habitually around, and the people with whom I can fall into old patterns, stuck ways of thinking, where the old acquaintances are not forgot, could not be forgot. The next line is, do not know who I am, but I still know I'm good as long as you're here with me. So I don't know who I am, but I know I'm good as long as you're here with me. So this is an existential crisis, right? When I'm in community, when I'm at work, when I'm doing my thing in the world, shopping at Costco, mowing the lawn, when I'm doing all the normal things, I think I know who I am because I'm defined by my roles. My identity is defined by the things that I habitually do, the things that people depend on me for. In this year of pandemic, so much has been flipped upside down. So many of us are confused about who we are because our roles have been upended. And of course, for people who are essential workers, healthcare workers, frontline, retail workers, it's gone the other way. Like, their entire identity has been subsumed by that work. Who am I when I'm not doing that? So many healthcare workers are in a state of shock and disbelief and disorientation and betrayal that they're in the hospitals and the healthcare, and the front line saving lives 24/7, and the world views them as frauds and hoaxes and bullshitters. Right? So this question is up for all of us in 2020. Who am I when I'm not with you, when I'm not doing the things that I was normally doing? Where do I find my identity? If we just let the day pass us by, I might get to too much talking, I might have to tell you something. So this is, in the context of a new romance, love affair, we're just sitting around, nothing happening, the day is stretching long, and I might have to tell you, so if I talk too much, eventually I might have to say something important. Eventually I'm going to have to reveal myself. I can't just keep the small talk, keep the chit-chat, keep the cool facade going forever. Eventually, something in me has to come out that's real. And we've had a whole stretch, this whole year of 2020 for some of us has been a metaphorical laying around big stretches of time. Eventually, something wants to be communicated, whether it's to someone else or just a truth that we want to tell ourselves. How has it been working for us? How has 2019 been? 2018, 2015, 2000? How has the arc of our life been? It was fine. It was good enough. We kept doing it. But 2020 came and said, you know what? You've done so much talking. Let's open this space up and see what the truth is. Are you fulfilled? Are you happy? Are you living the life you want to live? Are there other possibilities? If we take the board game of your life and just shake it up, and it can land any which way, what will you do with that? What if some part of past acquaintance be forgot, and you were brand new, would you recreate the same situation you're in now? Would you look for something new? When you have that space and you hear your mind talking, eventually does something come up that's an invitation to something greater? So that's the second song. The third one that came up randomly, at least as random as internet algorithms can make it, is Goosebumps by Travis Scott featuring Kendrick Lamar. So I'll just give you the main section that I got from this. I get those goosebumps every time. Yeah, you come around. Yeah, you ease my mind. You make everything feel fine. Worried about those comments. I'm way too numb. Yeah, it's way too dumb. Yeah, I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich. Throw that to the side. Yeah, worried about those comments. I'm way too numb. It's way too dumb. Well, that reminds me of our lives, our connected lives on the internet, comments. Right? You might be watching this on YouTube. You might be familiar with YouTube comments, which is anonymous people posting the vomit of their soul, the stuff that they want to desperately get rid of, the nastiness, the pettiness, the looking for someone to dump on. Right? The comments. I get numb, I know it's dumb, but I need a Heimlich. Right? So people are vomiting out their vitriol, vomiting out their disapproval, their disappointment, all the negativity that we keep inside us when we're anonymous on the internet and someone takes a stand and someone gets up in front of a camera. And this is scary. This is scary to get up in front of a camera and say things. And I don't know where it's going. And I don't know exactly, I haven't planned this out. There's no teleprompter. It's me talking. There is a vulnerability here. The only safety net is I could turn off the camera and say, nah, I'm not going to post it. Right? But aside from that, people who are on YouTube are, to a certain extent, bearing their souls, taking risks. And so that can lead people to, when someone says yes, capital Y, yes, to something, it triggers us. It triggers the no inside us, right? Because when someone says yes, we resonate with all the things we're not saying yes to. And we make those comments, right? And we can get numb and we know it's dumb, but we need a Heimlich. Right? The Heimlich maneuver, when something we have consumed, we have introjected something that's not us, and it's blocking us, and it's choking us, and it's keeping us in pain and starved for oxygen or love or fulfillment or money or whatever energetic force is being blocked. So can we Heimlich ourselves? Can 2020 be an invitation for us to say, where am I blocked? Where am I looking outward to criticize, to blame, to troll? And what is it in me that needs to be Heimlich'd? So for me, the 2021 opportunity based on 2020 is all about how can we weave healthy community? How can we be active nodes in community? How can we have agency and have guts and be vulnerable and say yes without falling into the myth of the individual superhero? Right? So much of what I see on the internet, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, so much of the inspirational stuff is all about winning. It's all about this imagery of like one person, it's typically like a man in a business suit with a suitcase leaping over everybody else. Like that's the symbol of achievement. It's a very sort of energetic, athletic, solo achievement. And I don't think that's how it works. Right? We've seen the people who have achieved at that level. the multi-billionaires who run the companies who are raking in the money while most Americans are desperate for a $600 check or a $2,000 check. And does 2020 tell us that we've reached the end of that paradigm of civilization, of individual humans leapfrogging over everybody else, winning, as if it's all graded on a curve, as if we are all atomized individual nodes trying to make it on our own. And the best we can do for everybody else is make it on our own and be the picture on an inspirational, motivational poster saying, see, they did it, you can do it too. 2020 has taught us that we are not individual nodes. That being an individual node, being by yourself, is desiccating to the soul. That we need to grab hands with the people around us and dance into the circle with them. And only with them at our sides can we expand ourselves and be strong and then walk into the future. So since I talk a lot about health and healing and health behaviors, what does this all have to do with how we treat ourselves going into 2021? So one thought is we are a community. Right? Each of us is a microbiome, a holobiont. I just learned that word, Holobiont, a holobiont, meaning the sum of all the DNA that we are made up of, us and all the bacteria, the hundreds of trillions of little critters who live in us, who live on us, who are us. Right? We know that our mood, our cognition, is heavily influenced by our gut bacteria based on who it is, what we're feeding it, what it needs. It kind of can pull the levers of us. So to recognize that we are a community, there's a fun little insult that we would say to each other when someone was, pressing their luck and it was about to get into a fight, and we'd say, yeah, you and what army? Right? You and what holobiont? Who are you? What are the troops that you're supporting? What kind of energy are you feeding your body? Are you putting out the mess for the troops that are going to support your health, that are going to support a healthy microbiome, healthy gut bacteria? And it goes beyond you, doesn't it? Because our gut biome is what's in the soil. It's what's in our food. It's what's in our water supply. Are you part of a community striving for a healthy world for everyone? You can't be healthy in a sick world. You can't have a healthy little finger in a disease-ravished body. So yeah, we want to be healthy ourselves. We want to take personal responsibility. But remember that sort of Superman image of the lone achiever doesn't work in public health. The pandemic has taught us that there is no such thing as individual health separate from the public, from the group. The second thing about community and health is that we know that we cannot be healthy outside of community. We know that loneliness is a greater risk factor for disease than high cholesterol, high blood pressure, atherosclerosis, diabetes. Right? Loneliness is the killer. We are communal animals. And this year has taught us what happens when we are deprived of co-regulation from other humans. We've seen all these stories about people getting dogs, about the importance of pets in people's lives. We need mammalian co-regulation. And so if you have been fighting the fight alone to become healthy, to conquer your cravings, to resist your temptations, to master yourself, to master your behavior, and you're doing it on your own as a rugged individualist. Know that it's time, the opportunity is here, the invitation is here for you to rest in the truth of your own connection to the world. Know that the food you're eating, the water you're drinking, the air you're breathing is a collective resource. The microbes that make up you and me going back and forth, right? Yeah, they're contagious and we wear masks, and they've always been contagious. And sometimes that contagion is positive. Sometimes the connections we make with one another are what give us life rather than what invite death. And we've seen the lack of it this year. We've seen what happens when we separate and segregate. We've had to do it. We've had to do it because our world has broken down, because we are encroaching human building upon nature, and all the things that should stay in nature, all the pathogens have leapt zoonotically into the human food supply, into the human respiratory system, into the human blood supply. Right? But just because that's true, it's also true that we need those connections. We need to be reminded of the collectivity and the connectivity of all of us. We will not thrive as individuals. So if your mindset is, I am going to conquer myself alone and handle my behavior and figure out my diet and become an exerciser, it's okay to lean on community. It's okay to get help. It's okay to be vulnerable, to admit weakness, and to say, let's do it together. We can't climb this mountain alone. We can't transform this world individually. We've got to protect ourselves, cover our hearts, collect ourselves, become containers of our own being, of our own consciousness, and from that place, reach out, take hands with our neighbors, and sing the Auld Lang Syne and ask ourselves, what should be forgotten and what should be remembered? What can we break and what can we mend? And walk together into the past, observing it, paying attention to it, honoring it, honoring it, honoring it, and then with clear eyes, not negating or dismissing or wallowing, holding on to our community, turning around, opening our hearts, and walking forward bravely, not as individuals, but together as a collective. That's my wish for 2021. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful, blessed new year.